So hi there, welcome to the final lesson where we try to summarize and utilize every command we had learned in the module 4, which basically was just talking about checks, but particularly about the clarity checks. So we'll just do a practical session again and then we'll take it up from there. So see you in the practical class where we'll just take it slowly and connect all the dots for this module. Thank you. So hi there, welcome to the practical session. We are going to take a longer time to do this, and hopefully we'll be able to get um, more complicated results. Now we had already done up to sensor 6 of that. Now just to recap everything we learned, please remember we talked about the labels. There are labels for variables, there's labels for data. We've talked about checking them in the windows. Whenever you see a label that is like this, for example, a label called state, it's a string, it's red, so you should not have a value label. That's fine. It's only the the blue ones that should have. And we did the data for the women living standard data set, which we may just go back to briefly. So basically, you will see that this has a value label, this has a label. So for clarity, three things: value label, variable label, and data label. Now, I've also said that as you are designing your data set, it's important that you check for variables that are most difficult to recognize, which are the categorical variables. Unfortunately or fortunately, this data set does not have that. So population for urban and all that stuff is fine. So we have I have everything here. So basically I have only one categorical variable and its label. So if you find a variable that just has numbers and the label and the label name and the variable name don't seem to project what is being said or being discussed, then we can change it. So let me quickly go to that one. I think we called it sysuse NLSW data. So let's open that. Okay, I think I have made a mistake in the spelling or something. Oh, it could not be saved. The Excel file needs to be shut. So we shut that down. That's fine. We can save it and come back here. Okay, so we run. Okay. Okay, let's still use what we had used. I mean, that's fine. So if you have that problem like this, maybe we did not spell the variable. There's a directory. You know, we talked about it too. dr. Sorry. Oh, is this sysuse comma all? I think. Sysuse. So, pardon me. It's sysuse directory. There was no need for the comma. Now I'm okay with having the errors because I also know that if you work on these things, sometimes you may have errors. And I'd mentioned that whenever you have an error, you're just doing something, you're just violating a principle. And in this case, I was violating the comma, so just trying to do it on top of my head. Now the variable I was looking for, okay, which they said it was, I did not put the 88, so it's the same variable. So all I need to do now is add 88 and we'll be fine. So it will all stay here. There's nothing that's gonna move. So it's good to see all the errors. Like I used to say, these are casualties of war. Sometimes that's how I describe it. Okay, let's get back to business. So I'll run now and I've opened the data set. Now I was just trying to say that it's clear that in this data set, now we have never been married being labeled, not college graduate being labeled, not South being labeled. Okay. I thought we had it not labeled, so maybe because we saved it, maybe we had saved it. So but we did it in the previous class where we had all this was basically 1010, had binary values, and we have been able to label. Okay, so basically that's how it works. But whatever you do, always also remember to save. We had done that in the last Moodle. Save a copy of what you are doing, especially at every stage. When the rice is boiled, you save it. When the rice is in the bag, you save it. And you keep saving so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel or start all over from the beginning. So even this data, I think we have also labeled it properly. Value label, data label, variable label, 3 labels that we need to emphasize for clarity. Okay, now that this has been done, we could also just as well just go on and extract those who have never been married and are single. So we're going to go back and just dwell a bit on the export Excel again. So the syntax is export Excel. So you may have what we call variables of interest. You only want to see their grade, that they are completed, their status, and their race probably. So let's say their race, their age, their marital status. We want to find out those who have never been married, or let's use the one those who have been married but currently are single. I think that's a better way to do it. They have been married before, but they are now single. So let's look at that. So take race. We're interested in race. We're interested in age. We're interested in marriage. And then I just want to add using, I would call this women data. Now this women data will save in this folder. The last time you specified a change directory, it was here. So this is the default directory for saving all this work. So women data XLS, and then we go back again to sheet. What's the name of the sheet? Now we want single but married before. I hope it's not too long. If it's too long, Excel will give you an error. I think about 32 characters for labeling a sheet in Excel. This is no fault of Stata. So if you're creating a file that is not possible in Excel, you have that error. And then I'll use sheet replace. I've already told you now that I want all single women. So I need to put the if before the comma. If married double equals to, and then you go to single and get the value. The single value there is 0. Can you see it? Is 0 here. So if married equals to 0 and has been married is equal to 0 too. So or never married is equal to 0. That means the person has been married. Equals to 0. 2 conditions, and we use the AND statement because 2 conditions must be met. They must be single and they must have married before. So maybe there's an intervention, maybe there's a study you want to take and you want to extract that out. So single but married before. And then we can run everything now again. We go straight and we find it here in the woman data. So the only challenge we have, we did not put headers. So we need to go back and put first row option. Let's close it and close this. We did not put the first row option. So we say first row variables and yeah, it's either if we do this, we overwrite it, which is fine because that's what sheet replace does. It replaces the sheet. So the new sheet is going to create for this tab in Excel will now have a first row with the variable names. So we can go back to our module 4 folder, open it again. So now you see age, race, and married, so their current status. So we can now decide to use var labels, which is the variable label for those variables, these three variables we selected. And maybe I just need to add college graduates. Now I'm going to use a tip now. I can drag it. You see, I dragged it like college grad from here, and I can put it right in the data. Please remember you have to emphasize space. So that's good. Oh, sorry, college grad space. So basically, or current grade completed. So let me drag again. I can drag it here, but please remember to create a space between because it sees as one word. Good. Let's run. So we have two extra variables now. You should have two extra variables in our output. And we run. Oh, it can't be saved because it's on. I have not shut it down. So I'm glad you saw that too. So it's done. I come back to module 4. So yeah, in module 4, the woman data is here. Open it again. So now we have two extra variables: age in current year, current grade completed, married, and whether it's a college graduate or not. So that's how it all works in Excel when you export. So we've played with a couple of things: the variable name, the variable label, the ability to name sheets. That's how it works. Now, we have not used the keep and drop, which was a very major highlight here, and I'm going to do that now. It does not need an Excel sheet. So maybe you just want to save another copy of the file. So you just want all single to be, saved somewhere else as another file. So I can say keep if married double equals to, or keep the married meant to. Let's keep married equals to 1. Let's not just use single all the time, so that the married guys don't get offended. Now, when we do this, I've told you whenever I use keep or drop, one of these two numbers will change. Currently, we have 17 variables. May change. Let me use that word because it depends on the condition you're stating. 17 variables, 2,246 observations. I'm only keeping the married ones. Immediately I do that, the data will change. It's now 1,442, and everybody in this data set is married. So if I reversed it and said all the singles too, same thing, it would give me a certain number. You can check again, I think 2,246. But by the time you say keep if single, because married equals to 0 is the same thing as single, we would only have 804 people. So things have changed. In the same way, if I was just going to keep a few variables, say age, race, and married, for example, this is 17 variables, but I'm now keeping 3, so 14 will disappear. So these are the 3 variables that are still there. So basically, that's how it works. I know it's quite straightforward, so please keep playing, but whatever you do, save a copy. So in this case, I'm just going to save a copy now and say save single data, single underscore data, something like that, comma replace. So in that way, I keep the original file. That's best practice. I don't alter it. If you alter it, you cannot go back and change it. So it's just best to keep it this way. So I hope this has been useful, and I will see you in the next module. In module 5, we are looking at interesting things. We'll be looking at completeness. If you have enjoyed this video and learnt a lot, please help me subscribe. Click the notification bell. Anytime a video comes out, you can get notified about it and you'll be able to watch interesting videos about what we have to share on data management. So also engage me in the comments below if there are things you need me to clarify on, if you think things you want me to explain further or better. I'm happy to do that in the comments. So get write in the comments. I check it periodically and I'm able to guide you. So I'll see you in the next module where we'll be talking about data completeness. And I'm so excited. Can't wait to get you on board. See you in the next video. Bye.